let university interfere with education. तो थोड़ा thoughtful है, but what it essentially means is that education हर जगह.
Yeah.
आप फील्ड में जाकर के हमारे होटल ओनर मिस्टर शुक्ला से सीख सकते हैं, या जावेद भाई से सीख सकते हैं, या फिर आप अपने टीम मेंबर से सीख सकते हैं, या तो फिर आप अपने कस्टमर से सीख सकते हैं, या तो अपने इकोसिस्टम से सीख सकते हैं, या तो अपने कॉलेज में जाके सीख सकते हैं. तो all of these are just ways of learning. You could learn in any of these places, right? So for me, I have found 5 or 6 ways of learning, which I hope that, some of it maybe, I don't think all of it will be, but some of it will be valuable to some of the other entrepreneurs listening to us. I think the first thing that I care a lot about is reading. I spend a lot of time reading. And reading is a combination of 3 things. I read, of course, books. I think a lot of people do it. The last one I read, which I actually, the last one I read that I recommend is actually No Rules.
Okay.
I think it's a fantastic book written by Reed Hoffman. Sorry, not Reed Hastings. The founder of Netflix. What an amazing book, right? And when I was reading that book, it told me like a lot of the stories were similar to us, right? They had a crisis. They unfortunately had some of their colleagues depart. It was emotionally the hardest thing they had ever done. But with the colleagues they had and the support of the alums they had, they recreated Netflix to become the company that they have built.
Yeah.
So I think fascinating book. So I think that's one. Second,
reading is the most important.
Reading,
okay. I want to break it down and then we go to second point. Tell us top 3 books you want all of us to read as an entrepreneur.
So, I will actually tell, I'll tell books, but I think along with books, I'll tell you 2 other things to read.
Okay.
The first thing is in books, No Rules. I think 0 to 1 is a very, very crucial one.
Yeah.
I think that is something that goes without saying. And of course, it's written by Peter Thiel. So I have special love for it. I have
admiration
a signed copy of 0 to 1 from
Damn,
Peter Thiel.
I'm jealous.
And then the third one I would say is, the Hard Things About Hard Things, right? I think Ben Horowitz book. I think that's another, and he's of course among entrepreneurs considered the star. So I think these are 3 books.
Okay.
But
what
I
are
think
the other 2 things?
The 2 other things that I'd like you to read, I think, encourage people to read a lot of business and startup leading publications on current news, right? Like, the ones that you were talking about earlier, for 2 reasons, right? The first one is just generally for, relating yourself with those people, right? Like relating for saying that I want to be a problem solver. I want to make a difference around the world, if that's of interest for you. And if you want to be an architect, then spend time reading about architecture, AD, like Architecture Digest, fantastic, right? And a bunch of other publications. But I think figure out what's your calling, and then their specific industry publications if you can. And for startup entrepreneurs, I think there are a bunch. I will not call out them, but you should know that there are just many of them, like around yourselves.
Yeah. So